All right. Hello. Hello, everyone. Well, no one, because there's no one here yet. But welcome to this live stream. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing these live streams more often. I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching English for many years, maybe 10 years now. And what I'm going to do, I have a certain method that I use in classes for grammar. Okay, so I call it Q&A grammar training. Let's say. So Q&A is question answer. Okay. So if you want to improve your grammar, if you really want to, like, I honestly think this is a very good method for training your grammar as an English student. Okay. So what I do is Q&A is question and answer. Yeah. So I will ask a question with a certain grammar tense. Like, for example, which countries have you visited in the world? So the grammar there is present perfect, yeah? So which countries have you visited? Present perfect. So then you need to answer just a simple sentence, simple answer, but you need to copy the grammar from the question. So, you know, if I ask you a present perfect, then you have to answer present perfect. If I ask a past continuous, then just try and answer with past continuous. So what I will do is if you're here watching, you can type an answer in the chat, and then I'll go through and look at the chat, and I will correct your answers and talk about the grammar. Okay, so let's go. Let's just begin. Okay, I don't want to talk too much. I'll just begin. Okay, and we have one person. It looks like one person watching, so that's cool. Okay, so well, I can see now one person has joined. So maybe for that one person joining, I'm doing grammar training, question answer grammar training. So if you want to join, you can type your answers in the chat and I will correct your grammar in the chat. Okay. So, well, that person is gone now. So I'm talking to myself again, but I'm going to keep going, in case anyone comes back and watches this video. So let's begin. First question. Yeah, let's start with that. Which countries have you traveled to? Okay. Which countries have you traveled? So think about your answer. What would you say? Okay. So it's present perfect. Which countries have you traveled? Have traveled. We have, and then traveled is verb number 3. So travel, traveled, traveled. Have traveled. So I'm going to give my own answers because there's no one here to write any answers. But so I'm going to give my own answers for now. So which countries have you traveled to? I have traveled to Spain. I have traveled to France. I have traveled to Japan. I have traveled to Korea. I have traveled to Italy. Okay, so as you can see there, my answers are present perfect. Okay, so like I have traveled to Spain, for example. So I have traveled, present perfect. I have traveled to Italy, present perfect. So we use the present perfect when we don't mention time. We don't care about time. Time doesn't really matter. Well, let's say specific time doesn't matter. Like you can have a timeline with a mark like last Tuesday, okay, or 7 o'clock this morning, okay. So these are I would call specific times on the timeline. For specific times like that, we use the past simple. Okay, so for example, I traveled to Spain in October. Okay, so October, it's on the timeline. When we have a specific time like that, then it's past simple. I traveled to Spain in October. Okay, I cannot say I have traveled to Spain in October because with the present perfect, we never mention a specific time. The only thing you can say is you could say before. So I have traveled to Spain before. Okay, because before just means in my life. So it's in my experience. You don't know when, okay? You just know I have it in my experience before in my life. We can also say recently, like I have traveled to Spain recently. But this is still very mysterious. It's just in my experience. You only know it's recently, but there's no timeline mark, like last October or last June. Okay. If we do that, then it's past simple. Okay, so the question was, where have you traveled, or which countries in the world have you traveled? Present perfect. We're not asking for specific times. I have traveled to Spain. I have traveled to Italy. I have traveled to Japan. I have traveled to Korea. Okay, so I'm not mentioning when, they're just in my experience. Okay, so now we want to know when. So let's go for, let me get a drink quick. So let's go for, so just pretend this is a dialogue. Yeah, me and another person, we're having a dialogue. So now the person asks me, when did you travel to Japan? Okay, when did you travel to Japan? So the question, see, this person is asking for a specific mark in time. When did I travel to Japan? Now, so it's past simple. When did you travel? Yeah. So the answer is past simple. I traveled to Tokyo last, I can't remember. I traveled to Tokyo last September, let's say. So September is on the timeline, past simple. This is the big difference between the present perfect and the past simple, because a lot of students, the present perfect is a mystery. All you have to remember, present perfect, we don't mention a specific time. Time is a mystery. It's in my experience. That's all you know. When we mention a time, then we use past simple. Okay, so now let's zoom into this time in Tokyo, in Japan. Okay, so now present perfect, we start very unspecific. Yeah. And then after that, we go specific to a specific time in September. Okay. So the person says, when did you travel to Japan? I traveled to Tokyo in September. Okay. So past simple. Now we're zooming into my Tokyo trip. So next question, who were you traveling with? Now, who were you traveling with? The grammar is past continuous. Okay. So now for past continuous, it's were traveling. Okay. Who were you traveling with? Now, just pretend this is you. Now, try and think of an answer that you would give just with the past continuous. Okay. So who were you traveling with? Go. Just try and think of an answer. With who? So what you could do is you could say something like, I was traveling. Okay, so I, past continuous. Who were you traveling with? I was traveling with my family. I was traveling with my best friend. I was traveling with my girlfriend, etc. Okay, so past continuous. I was traveling. So now, let me just think about what to explain here. Um, yeah, what I want to say is that when you zoom into a specific time, like a specific trip, so we're zooming into this trip in Tokyo in September. Okay, we're zooming in. Now we're going to talk about this trip. Now, all the details of this trip are this is the way it is with stories. We describe all the details of a specific story with the past simple and the past continuous. It's very simple. It's past simple. Okay. Uh, so it's the past simple and the past continuous. Let's just say 97% of the details of a story that you tell in the past, you describe them with past simple and past continuous. because some students learn something like the past perfect continuous, for example, like I had been doing. Okay, past perfect, I had done. Um, there's a few more, like I have been doing, for example, present perfect continuous. But when students learn these past grammar tenses, these past tenses, suddenly they want to use them in every situation, and they want to explain every story with these really complicated past tenses. The thing is, you really have to remember, just keep things simple. 95, I'll say something like 95% of stories in the past, you just use past simple and past continuous. Okay. Like I'll explain it this way. Like imagine doing karate, and what you really should do is you really should do the basics, like simple little punch, a little kick. The basics. The basics are very important. But then your teacher can teach you a double backflip, triple dragon kick. Okay, so it's this really complicated karate kick. You're flying in the air, you're double backflip, whirlwind, tornado kick. Okay, so that for me, it's something like the past perfect continuous. You know, I had been traveling, something like that. Had been traveling. I had one student who was very enthusiastic after after I taught him that grammar. He was very enthusiastic and really just wanted to explain every story with that double backflip, triple tornado kung fu kick. The past perfect continuous. But the thing is, you only use this really complicated, amazing kick or grammar 3% of the time. Okay, or let's say 5%. 5%. 95% of stories are the basics. It's just past simple and past continuous. Okay. It's like simple punch, simple kick. Keep it very basic. Let me get a. So now look here. So we're zooming into this trip in Tokyo. Now 95% of the detail of the story I'm going to explain with past simple and past continuous. It's very easy. So, um, well, I will kind of ask you questions and then you can think of your answer that you would give. But okay, so the last one was, who were you traveling with? I was traveling with my family, my best friend, my girlfriend. Okay. So next question. Where did you stay in Tokyo? So what would you say? Okay, this is past simple. Where did you stay? So I don't have anyone commenting because there's no one here to comment, but maybe hopefully in the future I'll get some comments and then I can correct the comments. But for now, I have to create the answers. So what was the question? Where did you stay in Tokyo? So it's past simple. You see, just past simple. Where did you stay in Tokyo? I stayed in a an Airbnb. I stayed in a traditional Japanese guest house Airbnb. Okay, so it's I stayed. It's not I had been staying or I have been staying and I used to would had been nothing. It's just past simple. Okay, I stayed in a guest house Airbnb. Okay. Now here's where there is something a little tricky that happens. Okay. So when you're talking about a story in the past, okay, so now this trip to Tokyo in Japan, there's duration. Like a holiday is 5 days, 10 days, something like that. Wow, there's a mosquito here. Okay, I just got a mosquito. I'll deal with that later. Okay, that's embarrassing. But anyway. All right. So So what am I talking about here? When you zoom into a specific time, when you zoom into a specific story, like my trip in Tokyo, um, you think about this yourself. What's the difference between I stayed in a hotel? No, let's go back for Airbnb. So I stayed in an Airbnb and I was staying in an Airbnb. What's the difference? What's the difference in logic here? Because the trip in Tokyo is a few days. Let's say it's 1 week. Okay. So I stayed in an Airbnb and I was staying in an Airbnb. What's the difference in logic? Need more mosquitoes. The correct answer is there's no difference. And it's going to sound crazy, but there's really no difference. Because whenever you have duration in the past, whenever you have a length of time, so this trip in Japan was 1 week. Yeah. So whenever you have duration in the past simple and the past continuous, they have the same function. So I can say I stayed in an Airbnb for 1 week, but I can also say I was staying in an Airbnb for 1 week. Okay. Same logic. Okay. For example, in university, I studied engineering in university. Studied, past simple. I studied engineering in university. I can also say I was studying engineering in university. Okay. Was studying, past continuous. I studied engineering. I was studying engineering in university. Same logic, same function, because university has duration. It's 4 years long. Okay. So, so I could say I was traveling with my girlfriend in Tokyo. Okay. For 1 week, I was traveling, but I can also say I traveled with my girlfriend for 1 week. Okay. Duration, same function. So, so same function. I traveled. I could say I ate a lot of good Japanese food. I can also say I was eating a lot of good Japanese food. Okay. Because there's duration, past simple, past continuous have the same function. So the only thing that changes though is quick actions. If there's a quick action in this story, we're zooming into this Tokyo trip, this travel. If a quick action happens relative to the trip, now we can only use a past simple. Okay. So for example, something like, what time did your flight arrive? So, you know, if you want, try and answer that. Um, just try and copy the grammar. Yeah. So what time did your flight arrive? What would you say? Okay, so just for this exercise, try and copy the grammar from the question. Okay, so the question is past simple. What time did your flight arrive? Okay, now past simple. My flight arrived at 7 a.m. Okay, so arrived, past simple. So we cannot say my flight was arriving at 7 a.m. I just try and think why. 1 week long. Okay, so I was staying in an Airbnb or I stayed, duration. I was traveling with my girlfriend or I traveled with my girlfriend. Same function because there's duration. But relative to that long trip, when you where's the okay, when you arrive at the airport, that is a quick action relative to the full trip. Okay. You know, the full trip is 1 week long. When you arrive in the airplane, it's kind of a quick moment compared to the long trip. So we cannot say my flight was arriving at 7 a.m. If it's a quick action, then it has to be my flight arrived at 7 a.m. It's something like, if there's let's say a girl drops a glass of water. Okay. You cannot you cannot say she was dropping the glass of water, because when you drop a glass of water, it's too quick. You have to use past simple. If it's a really quick action like this, that girl, she dropped the glass of water. Dropped the glass of water, it's very, very quick. but that's only for 5%. I find that 95% of the time, we normally talk about things that have duration, things that take a long time, things that have process. So 95% of the time, you can actually use past simple and past continuous in the same way. There's only very few actions that are very, very quick, and then you have to use you can only use past simple. Okay, so for example, another question. Try and think of an answer. So, what time did you check in to the Airbnb? What would you say? So try and use past simple. What time did you check in to your Airbnb? Okay, so just type the answer in the chat and then I will correct your grammar. So what time did you check in to your Airbnb? I think that mosquito bit me. Okay, so you could say something like, so just try and copy the grammar from the question. What time did you check in? We checked in at 4 p.m. We checked in. That's a phrasal verb. Check in. Past simple. We checked in at 4 p.m. Okay. So you see when you check in relative to the trip is 2 weeks long, 1 week long. Okay. And when you check in, it's kind of a quick moment in that long trip. So I would use past simple there. We checked in. We checked in at 4 p.m. All right. So what else now? So we zoomed into this trip in Tokyo. All right. So you see, everything's just past simple, past continuous. Let me show you. Let me create a few. You can even do it yourself. Like in the chat, you could type your answers. Tell me things you did in Tokyo with the past simple and the past continuous. Okay. So I'll just go because there's no one here. But so I could say on the first day we we ate. What could you eat for breakfast? That's a good Japanese breakfast. It's kind of an omelet, I suppose. So let's say on the first day, on the first morning, we ate a nice Japanese omelet. Okay. Yeah. So past simple, we ate. Okay, we ate this Japanese omelet. Uh, later that day, I could say we were walking around Tokyo Tower. Okay, so we were walking around. That's a past continuous. So you see everything. Keep it simple. Past simple. Past continuous. We were walking around Tokyo Tower. Um, on the first day, that night, we ate some yakiniku. Yakiniku, I think it is. It's kind of a barbecued steak. So on the first night, we were eating yakiniku in a very nice restaurant in Ginza. Okay, so we were eating, but the thing is, when you're eating, you can, dinner is actually 1 or 2 hours long, maybe 3 hours long. So we're kind of zooming into this time as well. Like and there's duration. There's duration in when you're eating a meal. Okay, so whenever there's duration or process, you can use past simple or past continuous. So we ate yakiniku, past simple, or we were eating yakiniku in a nice restaurant in Ginza. All right. So on the second day in the morning, we went to Asakusa. I think it is Asakusa. I think Asakusa. Well, forgive my pronunciation. We were walking around that. We were looking at that temple there. Past continuous. We were later that day. What did we do? We tried some good fresh Japanese sushi. Okay, Japanese sushi. I mean sushi. Um, so we tried past simple. Okay, you see there, the whole story is just past simple and past continuous. Really, keep it very very simple with past tenses. So then, what you could do as well. Now things get a little complicated because we started with the present perfect and we don't really care about time with that. Like, which countries have you traveled to? And then I said, I have traveled to Japan. But then now we're going into the timeline with past simple. When did you visit Japan? I traveled to Tokyo in September. Okay. So past simple with a specific time. Now we zoom in there and all the details are expressed using past simple and past continuous. But now there's some complicated grammar where we can talk about something that happened before the trip and something that was going to happen after. It's kind of like the past in the past, and then you have the future from a past point. Okay, so let me show you the past in the past. So the past in the past, it's past perfect continuous and past perfect. So had been doing and had done. So here's a question. Question is, how long had you been preparing for this trip? Okay, so I'm talking about the action all the way until the trip. Okay, so how long had you been preparing for this trip? Had, so it's had you been preparing, had been preparing. So just try and use the same grammar and, just create your own answer. So how long had you been preparing? Try and answer. Okay, if you're there, I mean, you can type your answer in the chat. I'll correct your grammar. Okay. So you can say something. I'll just create my own answer for now. But so you could say something like, we, me and my girlfriend, we had been preparing for 2 months. Okay. We had been preparing. So just think of this like I've spoken about my trip in Tokyo. It's 1 week long. Now I'm talking about something that had been happening until that point. Okay. So how long had you been preparing for the trip? My answer, uh, we had been preparing for 2 months. So it's we had been preparing. Okay. So that means it's past in the past. It's something that was happening until a point in the past. So until the trip. So we had been preparing for 2 months. It's very different to there's have been preparing and had been preparing. Okay. If you say the grammar have been preparing, this means continuously up until now. Have been preparing. Okay. But if you say had been preparing, that's a continuous action up until a point in the past and it finished there. It doesn't continue until now. Okay. So we had been preparing for 2 months. That finished at the beginning of this trip in Tokyo. Okay. Another question. Um, if if I asked you the question, what had you done to prepare for the trip? What had you done? So had done, past perfect. What had done? What had you done? Had done. Okay. What would you say? I would say we had we had researched everything we could about Tokyo. So we had researched. Okay. So it's had and then verb number three. We had researched. So this is the same thing. It's an action that happened before a point in the past. Okay. So we zoomed into Tokyo, this Tokyo trip, and this had happened before. Or for the other one, it's had been happening before. So what else? We had researched everything we could. We had packed our bags. We had packed, so it's had packed our bags. We had, what else? What could you do before? We had booked an Airbnb. Okay, had booked. We had booked an Airbnb. We had booked our train tickets from the airport to the city. We had booked. So it's okay. So I think you understand there. It's the things that had been happening up until a point, or had happened before a point. If you want to mention a few specific finished actions, the past perfect is better. Like we had done this, and we had done that, and we had done this, and we had done that. There are a few finished actions before the point in the past. For one continuous action, it's better to say we had been doing this. Hello, PP, is it? I'm teaching grammar. I'm teaching grammar, and I call it Q&A grammar. It's question answer grammar. So when I ask a question using a specific grammar, you can try and answer. Just try and type your answer in the chat, and I will correct your grammar. Okay, but in your answer, just try and copy the grammar from the question. So if I, like, for example, here's a question. If you want to try and answer, which cities have you traveled to in the world? Which cities have you traveled to? You know, so just try and answer with present perfect. You can type it in the chat, and then I will correct your grammar. Oh, but just in your, see, that's good. That's really good. But just in your answer, could you just try use the grammar? Just try and use the grammar. And just for this exercise, try and use the grammar from, try and copy the grammar from my question. So present perfect. Yeah. So which cities have you traveled to? So I have. Okay. So present perfect. It's have and then verb number 3. Okay. Wow. Getting a few comments here. Hello, Dia. Hello, Dia. I'm doing question answer grammar. The problem is I kind of have to go fairly soon because people are falling asleep here. But I can speak a little softly. I'll speak a little softer. And sorry for the crazy hair. Yes, yes, PP. So so for Dia, what I'm doing is I'm doing question answer grammar, and I'll ask a simple question with certain grammar, and then you just need to answer using the same grammar. Can proper English it PP? No problem, no problem. PP, I'll give you the answer. A good answer. So the question was, which cities have you traveled to? A good answer here is I have traveled. I have traveled to Praful in India and Maharashtra. Okay. What you are doing, Till? I'm teaching grammar. I'm teaching grammar with like question answer style. Oh, my name is Praful. Okay. Good. Great to have you here. Praf, Praful, Praful, Praful. Sorry for my pronunciation. So, Asta, what I'm doing is I'm doing question answer grammar. So you can practice your grammar. When I ask a question, just try answer using the same grammar. I'm from Ireland. Ireland. Okay, so there's a few people making comments now. So now we can do some work. So everyone, try and answer this question, and try and use the grammar. Okay. So which cities have you traveled to? Or which cities have you visited? So try and use the full grammar. I have. Type it in the chat. I will correct your grammar. Anyone have an answer? Dia, amazing, amazing, very good grammar. That's it. See, it's have and then verb number 3. Yeah, like have visited. So visit, visited, visited. Verb number 3. So that's perfect. I have visited Kathmandu. Anyone else? Anyone else want to give an answer? Just while I'm waiting for the other answers, Dia, maybe you can answer, Dia. So let me explain first, Dia. I have visited Kathmandu. We use the present perfect when we don't mention time. Oh, wow, very good. Asta. No, Asta, we only use had. See, you said had visited. The question was, which cities have you visited? Because have visited is in your life until now. Had, how will more time connecting your online class? How will more time? Sorry, Praful. Let me just correct Asta's answer quick. I had visited Dumka. See, had visited. That's really past in the past. Like you can say something like, I visited Tokyo. Let's just say Tokyo. So see, I visited Tokyo, past simple, and before that, I had visited Dumka. Okay, so had visited. It's really a past in the past. It's something that happened before a point that we mentioned, and the point that I mentioned there, it's I visited Tokyo. Okay, past simple, and before that, I had visited Dumka. But the question was, until now, which cities have you visited? Okay, have visited. So yeah, if you said the correct answer would be I have visited Domka because it's in my life until now. Okay, had visited. This is something that happened before a point that we mentioned in the past. Next question, please. Yeah. Sorry, Dia. Next question. So which cities have you visited? Dia said, I have visited Kathmandu. So we don't know when this happened. I just know it happened. Now I want to know when exactly. So specific time. So when we want to know a specific time, now we use past simple. Okay, so Dia, when did you visit Kathmandu? When did you visit Kathmandu? So try copy the grammar from the question. When did you visit Kathmandu? You see, um, before a month. So wait, Dia, you said I have visited Kathmandu. Now you see here, Dia, you should really just go past simple here, because my original question was like in your life. So my first time taking other countries. Cool, Praful. My first time talking to other people. Welcome, Praful. Welcome. Let me just answer Dia quickly, because my first question, Dia, was present perfect. Which cities have you visited? It's in your life until now. We don't know the time, but you said, I have visited Kathmandu. Perfect. Present perfect, we don't mention time. Now we're going to go specific. When we go specific, I want to know a specific time. It's past simple. Okay. So the question was, when did you visit Kathmandu? So just try answer that again, Dia. When did you visit Kathmandu? Conditionals is incredibly difficult to explain. I think I would need to do it in another live stream. It's You're entering the matrix. It's conditionals are all the rules break down with conditionals. I had visited. Okay, so Dia, do you have an answer there, Dia? So when did you visit Kathmandu? Okay, Dia, I have to go a little quickly because there's a lot of people asking questions. The correct answer would be I visited Kathmandu. You know, uh, a month ago. I visited Kathmandu a month ago because a month ago is a specific time, specific mark on the timeline. So whenever we talk about a specific mark, it's past simple. I visited Kathmandu at this time. Okay, we don't say I have visited Kathmandu 1 month ago. If you say specific time, past simple. I visited 1 month ago. Okay, so let me. Okay, Dia, here's another question. Okay, who were you traveling with in Kathmandu? Who were you traveling with? So now remember, try and everyone else, you can also give your own answers. Pretend you are, pretend I'm talking to you. You can try and give your own answer, and I will correct your grammar. But remember, copy the grammar from the question. So this question is past continuous. Who were you traveling with in Kathmandu? Who were you traveling with? So try and answer with past continuous. And I will type your answer in the chat, and I will correct your grammar. Who were you traveling with in Kathmandu? I was trying. Wow, amazing, Asta. That's really, really good. I think you got the other one correct as well. Asta, yeah, no, Asta is perfect. Sorry, your channel name. My channel name is. I think I have to change it. It's Learn English Through Interesting Topics, but I think I will change it because I have a new plan for this channel. I think it will be grammar. I was traveling with the entire family. Sulfur. Stop. Well, if it's true, it's true. So, but that's very, very good grammar, okay? Because the question was, who were you traveling with? Sulfur said, I was traveling with the entire family. And I dreaded every second of it, which is past simple. Fantastic. And I'm sorry for you, Sulfur. But anyone else have a answer? So who were you traveling with? You can type your answer in the chat. So what we're doing there, let me just explain what's happening there, because the first question, it's unspecific with time. Which cities have you traveled to? Present perfect, we don't mention time. Okay. So like many of you said, like Dia said, I have visited Kathmandu. That's perfect. So present perfect, we don't care, we don't mention time. It's in your experience. It's learn English through interesting topics. Okay, learn English through interesting topics. Well, that was the plan before, but now it's grammar. So let me think about this. Okay, so present perfect, we don't mention time. Which cities have you traveled to? Now, I have traveled to Kathmandu. So it's just in your experience. Now we zoom into a specific mark on the timeline. When did you visit Kathmandu? Past simple. I visited Kathmandu 1 month ago. Okay, so now we're zooming into the timeline, the mark in the timeline, this trip in Kathmandu. So now all the details we describe. Okay, Asta, bye. Oh, okay, good luck with your grammar exam, Asta. Good answers. You got some answers correct, Asta. So when we zoom into a specific time, all the details, we describe all the details of a specific trip that's in a mark in the timeline with past simple and past continuous. past simple and past continuous. That's all. Okay. Everything about the Kathmandu trip can be described with past simple and past continuous. So, when did you travel? I traveled 1 month ago. Who were you traveling with? I was traveling with my family, entire family. Okay. Next question. Next question. Where were you staying in Kathmandu? Okay. Where were you staying? Hotel, Airbnb, with a friend? Just type everyone here. Pretend you went to Kathmandu. Okay. So where were you staying? And try and copy the grammar so it's past continuous. Where were you staying? Type your answer in the chat. I will correct your grammar. Where were you staying? Hotel, Airbnb. We were staying at a hotel. Fantastic, Dia. We were staying. That's correct. That's totally correct. The past continuous. Okay. Because everything about this trip we describe with past simple and past continuous. And if anyone else wants to answer, I'll correct your grammar. But Dia, that's totally correct. Dia, here's a question for everyone. What's the difference between we stayed at a hotel in Kathmandu and we were staying at a hotel in Kathmandu? What's the difference here with past simple and past continuous? We stayed and we were staying at a hotel in Kathmandu. I have to speak quietly because some people are sleeping here. So what's the difference between we stayed at a hotel and we were staying at a hotel? Anyone tell me here? Okay. Jiao, hello. Good to meet you. We were staying in a cabin in the middle. We were staying in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, probably being stalked by serial killers. Wow. Okay, you've got very advanced grammar, Sulfur, and interesting answers. Brazil, welcome, Jiao, welcome. So we were staying in a cabin. That's very good grammar. It's past continuous. I'm Italian. Cool. Wow. I'm getting a lot of more people than I thought. I'm Italian. Okay. Slime attack. Hello. So everyone, what's the difference between past simple and past continuous? Dia said that, she visited Kathmandu 1 month ago, and then she said we were staying in a hotel. But what's the difference between we were staying in a hotel and we stayed in a hotel? What's the difference in the logic? Wow, there's a lot of people now. I'm living in Russia. Welcome, everyone. And can anyone? I'm from Ireland, by the way. What's the difference between we stayed in a hotel, and we were staying? Is it the same thing? Is there a difference? I'm from Indonesia and I'm learning English for IELTS. So far, your grammar is pretty good and your answers are pretty good. You're from Indonesia, Sulfur. And I'm learning English for IELTS. Wow. With that grammar that you use, Sulfur, that's pretty good grammar. I would expect a professor. I'm a teacher. I'm an English teacher with 10 years experience. But Sulfur, with that grammar, I mean, you should get 7.5 for the speaking if you can speak very quickly with that grammar. 7.5, maybe 8. I don't know. But okay, anyone want to answer? Like, what's the difference between the past simple and the past continuous? We stayed in a hotel and we were staying. Okay. If no one's gonna answer, I'll answer. Okay. There's no difference. There's no difference. Thank you. I'm so beautiful. No. I'm old. Maybe my hair. I don't know. Uh, wow, slime attack. I can't focus. Um, Thank you. Um, Why I can't remember the last. Sir, I want more time. Well, I'm going to teach here for free, and you guys can learn grammar. Question answer grammar. But I want to say that there's no difference between I stayed in a hotel in Kathmandu and I was staying in a hotel in Kathmandu, because whenever you have duration, there's no difference in logic between the past simple and the past continuous. You can say I traveled with my family. You can also say I was traveling with my family. Okay. There's no difference, because whenever you have duration, whenever you have process, past simple, past continuous, they have the same function, same logic. I love Italy. You're from Italy, Slime? I have some Italian students, and they're probably the most interesting students I have. Yeah, I have a lot of stories. Just, um, wow, the main difference. Oh, okay, Medina. Let's go. Let's see this. The main difference between the past simple and the past continuous is that in the first case, it is important for us. Oh, sorry, I'll read a little slower. The main difference between the past simple and the past continuous is that in the first case, it is important for us to show the sequence of events in the past. Okay. And in the second, to emphasize the duration of the action at a specific time in the past. Yeah. See, the thing is, poco Italiano? No, I speak a little bit of Spanish only. What do you do for your class next time? Just come to this channel. I'll teach question answer grammar. But I want to answer Medina. Medina, let you teach. Yeah. Medina, there's no difference. Whenever you're talking about duration in the past, any action that has duration, past simple and past continuous, they have the same meaning. So, I studied engineering in university. Past simple, I studied engineering. I can also say I was studying engineering in university. They have the same function whenever you have duration. Okay. Like, let's say for this holiday in Kathmandu, I was traveling with my family and I traveled with my family. Same logic. You can, because there's duration for the trip. Um, I ate lots of good food and I was eating lots of good food. What was the question? Give me the answer. What to do for your class? Join next time. I think I'm gonna do these classes randomly for now. It's just grammar, like live grammar classes. I'm just gonna do random live streams, but I think eventually I will kind of get a fixed time, and then maybe you can know, like, every Monday at this time, you can come to this class and do some question answer grammar. So yeah, Prashu, was it? I'm trying to remember. Prafel. Which time? No, random. I see my. Which time? Random is like whenever I'm free. I'm gonna try and do a class like this. But maybe somewhere around this time. Somewhere around this time. Just look for a live. I'll do live grammar like this. Next question. Okay, Dia. I'm sorry. Sorry, Dia. You're very patient. Um, so the next question is. Let's think about this. How long had you been preparing for this trip to Kathmandu? How long had you been preparing? How long had you been preparing? Everyone, try answer this. Pretend you went to Kathmandu 1 month ago. Okay. How long had you been preparing? I will wait for you as well. Okay. I will welcome you. I have to go study. I'm happy to have met you. And thank you. Ciao, slime attack. Where in Italy? Are you in the north or the south? Asta. Wow, Asta's got some good grammar. I had been preparing for, well, maybe just the end. A lot time. I would say a lot of time, for a lot of time, or for a long time. I had been preparing for a long time. Maybe that's the best one. Okay. Rome. Ah, wow. I have a student from Rome. I have one very interesting student from Rome. He's a very funny guy. Uh, Felic- Felicita is I. Okay, Medina. I had been preparing. Yeah. Medina, totally correct. Because so I went to Kathmandu 1 month ago. So up until that point, I had been preparing for a month. Okay, so had been preparing. It's something happening until a point that we mentioned in the past, and the point is Kathmandu 1 month ago. Okay, Dia, I had been preparing for a long time. Okay, you're just missing but your grammar is good. I had been preparing for a long time. Guys, hello everyone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose. Well, everyone who's here. Folks, I have to go because I have to. It's very late here, and I have to go. But you see, everyone here, if you go to the beginning of this live stream, I explained everything about the present perfect, the difference between the present perfect and the past simple. And then I explained when you zoom into a story, you use past simple and past continuous. And there's some other things like if we mention a quick action in the past, then it's only past simple. Like what time did you arrive in Kathmandu? We arrived at 10 a.m. So if it's a quick action like this, then it's only past simple. If it's a process, then you can use past simple and past continuous. I was traveling with my family. I traveled with my family, but we arrived at 7 a.m. It's a quick action, so that's only past simple. Okay. And then I also explained the before and the after. Okay. So today we did the before, Dia, she said, I had been preparing for a long time. Medina said, I had been preparing for a month. Very good grammar. See, we're talking about something that had been happening before, but this live stream is nearly 1 hour long now, and I really have to go to sleep because it's getting very late. But I really, I appreciate everyone who came. It's, your questions, your answers that you gave. I appreciate that because then when you give me answers, I can correct all your grammar. And sorry if I don't answer everyone like immediately, but and I'm whispering because there's someone sleeping here. I have to be quiet. But yeah, so everyone, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna repeat past tenses and future tenses with different questions, with different stories every time, and you will see that the grammar that you use today. Bye, dear. Very good to meet you, dear. What time here? It's midnight. Midnight. 12. Hard as English is difference between past simple and present perfect. Yeah, Jiao, the difference is the present perfect, we don't mention any specific time. When we mention a specific time, then we use past simple. Okay? Like, for example, I have lived in Spain before. It's just before. But if I want to say when, I lived in Spain 10 years ago. Lived past simple. So past simple is specific time. I lived in Spain 10 years ago. We do not say I have lived in Spain 10 years ago. Because when you use present perfect, we don't mention time. It's only I know it's in your experience. That's all. I have lived in Spain before. Okay, Medina, 7 o'clock in Russia. Yeah, it's getting late for me. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this kind of grammar, question answer grammar, again and again and again. Really focus on past tenses and future tenses. Oh, 11, 11, 11 o'clock in Indonesia. Um, oh, I've been to Bali so far. I was in Ubud, and it was great. Um, I tried the coffee as well. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm gonna repeat this. if you really just repeat the past tenses and the future tenses a lot, simple repetition, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, I can force you into using all the different past tenses, all the different future tenses. When I ask a question, verb one, can you explain what verb one is? But yeah, when you copy my grammar in your answer, I can force you into using all the weird and strange past tenses, all the weird and strange future tenses. And it's just simple repetition of the pattern and the structure. You just got to repeat, it's a past perfect continuous. You just have to question, answer, repeat, question, answer, repeat, question, answer, repeat. You need to answer with the past perfect continuous a few times before it gets comfortable. I figured you knew about Bali. Many foreigners don't know about Indonesia, but I know Indonesia. I've had a few students from Indonesia, but I've never been to Indonesia properly, just Bali. And I was a very young man traveling in Bali. I wasn't the most professional traveler. Like I didn't, if I went again, I would explore Indonesia properly. But so I think Bali is, yeah. Oh yeah, I suppose I've been to Indonesia. But is there a difference in culture, or is it the same? Is Bali like typical Indonesian culture? I don't know. But yeah, simple repetition. Question, answer, question, answer. I will force you to use all these grammar structures and grammar patterns. I had been worked the English, but not properly spoken English. Yeah, spoken English is really, really difficult. You just have to find someone to speak to, or speak to yourself at home. Maybe do essays, like watch a movie and then write an essay about the movie, or watch a YouTube video and then write your own essay about the YouTube video, because it's still output. The language is coming out with writing, so it should help your speaking. Ireland is packed with wealth of history and culture and has an enormous influence in the world, from successful Irish musicians, writers, and movie stars to, groundbreaking inventions that have revolutionized the modern world, like Guinness. No, but we have really good writers and poets in Ireland. And I even played some traditional Irish music, the banjo. If anyone knows the banjo, I used to play the banjo. Thanks for the class, my first class. Yeah. Ciao, this is my first class teaching live. So normally I teach on Skype one-to-one. But everyone, I'm really, really sorry, because it's late here. I have to go to sleep. But if you want to come back and we'll do this question, answer, copy the grammar. Thinking English. Do you know the best way I've seen? You have to consume English as much. Good night, Sofer. Good to meet you. You have to just consume English as much as possible. Watch movies in English, watch TV shows in English, read books in English, have fun in English. Just enjoy the ride, enjoy the process. And my one student recently did that, and she said when she went to sleep after doing that for 2 days, she said she was thinking in English. So if you just live in English, like there's a famous website called All Japanese All the Time, if you want to become fluent in Japanese. Well, same for English, all the time. I mean, if you want to start thinking in English, just movies, TV shows, music, reading books, podcasts, just all English all the time. And I'm pretty sure I've seen that before with students. They go into English mode and start thinking in English. Okay, everyone, I have to go. But very good to see you all, and thanks for the comments, and I'll be back. So really, I have to go, but ciao, adios, bye bye, oyasumi. What else? Bon voyage. I will make videos often, Medina. I have to get better at this. What other words for goodbye do I have? Maybe tell me your words for goodbye in your language. What else? Dutch, I think it's goeiedag. Goeiedag. In Ireland, we say good luck. When we're saying goodbye to someone, we say good luck. Good luck. It's like good luck. Okay, Medina, I can't read that, but sorry, I can't read Cyrillic. What other Korean? What would be Korean? Anyo no, I don't know. Supratri in Telugu. Okay, cool. Subharatri. What other languages could be? Italian? Ciao. German? I don't know. Good night for German. Portuguese? I think it's ciao in Portuguese. I should learn more. I know Japanese. It's oyasumi. Good night. Oyasumi. Oyasumi nasai. To be more polite. In Mandarin, it's just bye bye. Zaijian. Okay, everyone. I'm sorry. I have to go. Did you know Telugu language where is it from? This is not Filipino language, is it? Let me see. Telugu? Where is that from? Telugu. Wow, where is that? Oh, Indian. Oh, okay, it's a specific Indian language, Telugu. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Ah, okay. En cuanto, it's from India. Okay. Okay, everyone, I'm really, really sorry, but I have to go. Ah, cool. Okay, time to go. I can't say goodbye properly because you're all here. It feels weird to leave you just here and to click end stream, but I really have to go. I really have to sleep. So go to the beginning of this live stream if you want to review the grammar, because when no one was here, bye bye. When no one was here, there was no one in the chat. Is there no picture? When no one was here, I was talking to myself. So when earlier in this live stream, I was talking to myself and I was explaining grammar to myself just because no one was here. And yeah, go back there because I explain the grammar pretty well, the past tenses. And, when I ask a question, just try answer, copy the grammar from the question. Okay, bye everyone. Ciao, adios, oyasumi, bye bye. Speak soon.